By now, you're probably already aware that at core, Couchbase is a key value store. Things get most interesting when the value that you're storing is a JSON document. But what about that key? Well, when you're speaking of the key and the document itself, we refer to that key as a document ID. Let's take a closer look at what you can do with this. So as we say, Couchbase is a key value store. The key could be something as simple as a timestamp if you're tracking time series data, and the value, some simple value like a temperature measurement. More commonly, though, you may be storing a JSON document, as we've said. Now, when you're doing this, we refer to the key associated with each individual document in the bucket as a document ID. The document ID itself can be any string value up to 250 bytes, which would be about 250 UTF-8 characters. Now, the content of the document itself is any value up to 20 megabyte. That's going to be around 5 to 20 million UTF-8 characters, depending on the byte length of the characters that you're encoding. Now, you can use natural keys for your documents. What does that mean? Well, a natural key is some unique real-world value that's logically associated with the value in the document itself. Maybe a mobile number or email address or postal code with a street address, a SKU number. Any unique business-specific reference number is potentially usable as a natural document ID, as a natural key. However, that being said, you do need to be cautious. There are regulations that impact how you use personally identifiable and other sensitive personal information. And certainly in the health field, there is protected health information. So you want to check into this before assuming that you can use any particular value as a natural key. So what then, by alternative, is a surrogate key? Well, surrogate keys are any unique arbitrary value that you generate as part of your system as a document identifier. Couchbase supports atomic, unique, cluster-wide counters if you need to have sequential numbers associated with your documents as part of the document ID. Also, there's a UUID function available in Nickel if you're creating new documents using the insert statement provided in that language. Of course, your own programming environment will have other ways of generating unique values as well, and you can pass those through the Couchbase SDK as part of document creation. Now, when would you use a surrogate key? Well, perhaps there is no obvious natural key for your particular business case, or those that present themselves are unavailable due to regulatory concerns. Or maybe you do need sequencing in your document IDs. It can be helpful for certain slicing and sorting behaviors. Also, surrogate keys may be smaller than natural keys, or not. It depends on the natural key that you might use. You'll also run across in the world of Couchbase key patterns that are commonly used to encode metadata as part of the document ID. So you'll see patterns like document type followed by ID. Here we see a prefix of order followed by what appears to be a sequential number, or a document type of product followed by a UUID. Or maybe you would encode an application name as a prefix along with other document type and ID values because you need to support multiple applications within the same data bucket. Remember, these values all must be unique within the bucket itself. Each bucket is a unique key space. And these patterns can get as involved as you need them to be. Now, this does imply that it's up to you, and it is. There are various separator conventions you may choose to use. There are various patterns that you'll see used both in this course and elsewhere. None of these, however, are required or enforced. You have total flexibility when it comes to how you choose to model your data, and your data modeling includes your key design. The keys are cached in metadata by default, though, so do consider the sizing impact. There are good reasons to use small surrogate keys. Last, the cross-data center replication available in Couchbase is filterable based on these key patterns, So, for example, if you plan to have regionally based data centers and you want to control replication across them based on regions, you might choose to encode region information as part of your document keys. So what have you learned here? Well, first, a document ID is the key of the key value store provided by Couchbase, and each document ID is any string up to 250 bytes. There are two broad categories of key types you might choose to implement. Natural keys, which are some real-world value associated with the values in your document. But you might also choose to use surrogate keys, which are some unique, completely arbitrary value that you create. It's common to encode other metadata as part of your document ID, such as the document type. As you do so, you'll separate different values within the key with some separator. In the examples we've shown, we use a double colon, but this is neither enforced nor required. You may make different choices, because ultimately, how you design your keys is part of your data model. In our next lesson, we're going to jump into structural choices that you have in the JSON documents themselves. Stick around.